Welcome to Graveyard Crypto. Today's date is January 24th, 2021. The price of Bitcoin is around $32,800. Price of Ethereum is about $1,431. The market cap is around 980 billion and Bitcoin dominance is at 62.3%. So this week we had a lot of stuff going on in the sense of Ethereum, US dollars wise, hit an all-time high, which literally just happened an hour ago, even though it hit 1440 later this week or earlier this week. It's now at it hit 1477 today, about an hour ago. So that's looking good. And if we were looking at before, we were talking about where the price of Ethereum, where you would basically need around 32 ETH to buy one Bitcoin, now is around like 24. So now it's like 24 and a half Ethereum for one Bitcoin. So that value is going up, which is good if you're a holder of ETH, where your value in Bitcoin is increasing. Also, with Bitcoin, price did go down. I mean, it hit 40K again. I think before we did it, our last podcast, it was like 39. So all of us were way off on our predictions. We, like I said, hit 40K and then slammed down. I think we hit like 29, 8,
28.7.
28.7. So yeah, it did have, you know what? It's fine because it was a good buying opportunity. And, if we go right into it, maybe we could talk about one of the most interesting, publicly traded companies in MicroStrategy buying even more Bitcoin. They bought $10 million worth of Bitcoin on that dip. So, I mean, the Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy just going in and doubling down and tripling down and just they're literally just stacking sats. And it's,
Yeah, and I think amongst all like people that I know in my sphere, the community, seems like more people bought the dip. Seems like we have like a more mature retail crowd going on. I mean, I think you see something go to 42K as far as Bitcoin's concerned, it's going to go back there one day, whether it's going to be a year or 2 years, like you're getting a deal. So
yeah,
I think
that was always
that.
That was always my mindset. When Bitcoin hit back in 2017, it hit like 20K, 19K. So whenever it went down, I said, at some point it's going to be over this price, whether, like you said, whether it's 6 weeks from now or 6 years from now. I know at some point it's going to go back above that. So
Right.
if you had a chance to get under 30K, good for you, because now it's up I guess 10% from that area, around 10%.
And I think it's good to like focus to pay attention to the percentage size of the dip.
Right.
I mean, if it's a 10% dip, I mean, it's probably going to be quick. But when you get those 25, 30% dips, I think those are the real buying opportunities that you should be looking for,
Yeah.
That just as a measure, like 25% dip, like that's a buy.
Right, because
Regardless,
40K.
But anyway, that's what I saw. It was a 31% dip from top to bottom.
Yep, that's what I was just checking.
Yeah, buying opportunity, and guess what? If you did, good for you. And some people, I was actually, if you look at, maybe we can pull that up, where I was looking at the amount of people like whales that have like a certain amount of Bitcoin. You saw actually at that point a lot of those wallets increase the amount of Bitcoin that they had on them. So the rich were just getting richer at that point, because they were looking and buying that stuff. And actually, if you look at this chart right here that we just pulled up, you can see this is I guess what the exchange is, right?
Yeah, all the exchanges are color coded and shows how much supply each exchange has on the market.
Right. And it's just slowly dwindling down.
Yeah, those are my red circles, right?
Yeah, your image that you shared with us.
I don't know if you guys see what I see, but if you just focus on like the top of the colored
Section, right. Yeah.
Well, you see where it starts to dip off a breakout, and then you can kind of see how we have a bigger kind of image currently, but in the same scenario. We have this dip with increasing price. So perhaps, we're just on a launching pad for the next true leg up in this bull run. Just further confluence on kind of everything that we're expecting this year. Just another quick thing that I saw, which was interesting.
Oh yeah, like you said, look what happened last time.
Yep.
We're just starting to get a pullback, which would have us maybe about here by comparison.
Yeah.
We're starting to have a little pullback. We still
Right.
got all this way to go.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big happy face right there.
It's a big happy face, yeah.
Yeah, because
Terrible happy face.
I mean, it looks like a happy face, so you might as well be like, at that point, you're gonna be happy right there, like for real. It looks like it's gonna shoot up, because if you look, what's that, $400 all the way up to 10K,
20K, yeah.
well, yeah, 20K, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like that's a big run up. So if
It's nice to see where it's like the point of no return, even at like the big dip off the top. If you like drew a horizontal line from the bottom of the last bear market and you do it across to the left of where the breakout was.
I'm not sure what you're trying to ask me to do right now.
The January 19 bottom. If you draw a horizontal line to the left across the July 17 price action.
Like this?
The lower bottom.
Oh, this?
Yeah, there.
32.
So like basically everything below there was a point of no return as far as the bull market was concerned.
Yeah, you see, we hit that price point, rejected way back here in the middle of 2017. The ones we broke through, that was the new bottom.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying, right?
So I mean, I'm saying if you technically got out at that point in time, July 17, and you just didn't worry about it until January 19, you could have jumped back in then. That would have been a perfect play. But I'm just trying to make the point that in the early part of these bull breaks, you don't come back to these prices. So like, don't be surprised if you don't see 20K again or 25K again.
Yeah. This little flag we're in here could be like this one back here.
Yeah. So we don't know. Maybe we won't ever see 29K again at this point. We don't know, but just be something to be prepared for.
I feel like that's true. Once we break through like 50, 60, then we're not coming back.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the stock to flow model. I think you guys are too. Plan B, stock to flow. I mean, it's working out pretty well. Go with it until it fails, right? But I think you could get a good estimate from the stock to flow.
Do we have anybody have that? Maybe we can pull that one up just to show everybody kind of what we're talking about. And again, if we do talk about Plan B a lot, where if you go on his Twitter, it's like at $1 trillion US or something like that, 100 trillion US. He also on Medium, he wrote a article, like a 12-minute article on it, so it's definitely going to be something worth looking at.
See if I could pull that up real quick. I didn't have it ready to go.
Yeah, I have it on Look Into Bitcoin. You ever guys use lookintobitcoin.com?
No. What is that?
Do a screen share. Show us. Give us a tour.
Yeah, sure. It's a great resource for different charts and stuff for Bitcoin.
What is going on over there?
I don't know what's going on over there. I'm trying to pull up the stock to flow chart.
Yeah. Is this you?
I got it. Oh, I guess Greg's sharing. I think he got interrupted. Ghost in the background behind that digital background. You're embarrassing him. Stop.
Well, if you look right here, this is the stock to flow model, right? And after every halving, basically that's where it jumps up. And to me, that's if you look at just creating scarcity with like a deflationary asset at that point, because with the halving, it's at 900 Bitcoin per day. The next halving will be 450, And the next one after that, 4 years later, it's 225. So
And you can see those peaks go higher. So that's where some of these, like Max Kaiser was talking about 228.
right.
It's talking about like the next median high being around 100,000, but we're going to spike above that.
Yeah, they say in it that could possibly be like between August and October. There's
Yeah.
a lot of people are pushing at least for 6 figures by then. And I'm like, wow, like
That's going to have to put us on track if that's the numbers we've been expecting. I mean, me and you, we've been for 3 years. We've been
I feel like the
kind of
color
expecting
chart,
this to come, you know?
the color chart helps a lot to kind of gauge maybe a possible point of no return in price. You could see how when it's orange and yellow, that price never really comes back to the orange and yellow area of the previous cycle. It's not until where it turns green where maybe that's like the overbought territory.
right.
Same thing back in this 2013 cycle. Right after it turns yellow, it gets kind of lime greenish, and that's probably a sell territory. Blue is always hard accumulation. Purple is accumulation. Red, orange, and yellow is the breakout. So right now we just finished red and orange. And by the way, the colors is just a matter of how many more days until the next halving.
That's what I was going to ask. That's time-based, not price-based.
Exactly. That's why it's so programmatic, and that's why it's kind of reliable it's just a helpful kind of mental thing, like, oh, we're still in the orange area, so we really shouldn't have to be worrying too much about really buying an overbought territory.
You know what's crazy? I was just doing like a quick calculation. I don't use a calculator thing, but in 20 years, like right now we're at 900 Bitcoin a day. In about 20 years, it's going to be around like 20 Bitcoin a day, or 23 Bitcoin a day, or something like that.
Right.
No, actually, no, 28. I'm sorry. But think about it. In 20 years, you're going from 900 to 28 Bitcoin a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, just do the math. If the value of 900 Bitcoin times what the price is now, and I don't know if maybe you have a calculator, you can do that real quick. But
I'll do it quick.
So
what are we calling the current price? Like 35? Just a nice round number?
33,000.
33?
Yeah, so 900 times 33,000.
How much?
29. Call it 30 million. Just shy of 30 million.
30 million. So now, so divide 30 million by like 28. Maybe, and I'm not really, I don't know. I'm just doing like
hypothetical.
Yeah. It's like it's like $10 million.
Clarify what your point is again.
That's a little bit more than $1 million a piece, Matt. Matt's saying if the same amount of money is buying that much Bitcoin every day,
right,
versus 28, how much would the price of Bitcoin be? Correct? That's what you're saying, Matt?
Yeah, exactly. Like let's just say, for any reason, if the actual amount being put into the market every day was the same amount that it is now, then that's what you're looking at.
That would be a little more than 1 million.
And I bet you it's going to be way more than that. I mean, 20 years from now,
yeah, that might be the bottom.
Yeah, it'll be going up and down $100,000 a day.
We're not done printing yet. There's got a lot more money being created all the time.
Yeah, what is this right here? We're looking at just a straight.
I don't know. Greg's still sharing his screen.
What do you see?
On it.
It's a straight line.
Do you see?
No.
Nothing. Okay.
No. No.
No, not a thing.
This is a logarithmic growth curve of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Kind of shows we're just consolidating right around the median line. But obviously this chart tops out around 100K.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to the last top.
100K probably in like 6 months, 7 months,
Yeah,
like that chart stops, right? Yeah.
This one goes pretty much to the beginning of May. So I've heard a lot of forecasts for that.
Where's that top 12 months from now? Can you pull that off that chart, or?
Does it let me? It only goes until 2021.
You could just kind of do a guesstimate. I mean, if you move 100,000 basically in the same distance, above, a million above 100,000, like where 10,000 is, and then you drew the line, if you drew the line out like that, like, so you got a pen, can you draw on that?
Can you draw on that?
Prepared as usual, all of us.
Yeah. What,
right.
like
What
out
chart? I'm
here?
gonna pull it up.
Yeah, so you do that, and then now you put and now pretend that's $1 million, kind of right where the same distance between.
Those lines are pretty consistently crooked, Greg. That's good.
Yeah.
But now
So
like
I don't
make
know
it
how much the
outline.
gauge is here, but I think you're around like a million.
Yeah, and that's
10,
about
10
20,
10 million.
right?
This is where you start getting into like the tens of millions. It's kind of
Yeah.
crazy, but
Reserve currency status. Reserve everything.
8 years from now, 7 years from now, 6 years, it's not that far away.
but look into Bitcoin.com. It's good. They have a lot of like technical charts.
We'll have to put that on the description down below. So I'll make a note of that. What else we have what other news you got, Jeff? News wise.
You want news or you want charts? What are we doing?
Let's do news first, then we'll look at charts at the end.
All right. Big news of the day. Ethereum all-time high.
Yeah. And it's still not all time for Ethereum over Bitcoin. Which I think at one point it was like 0.1, right?
I think higher.
It was like which is now it's like 0.04, I think the numbers right now. So 4 million Satoshis for one Ethereum, one Ether. Now, yeah, look at that. It was almost like 0.16, 0.17.
Looking for the high.
Right?
0.14. Up there.
Yeah. So 14 million sats, 15 million sats back at the all-time
That was like
high.
6 Ethereum for a Bitcoin approximately then, something like that, 7.
Yeah. But that's also when the price of Bitcoin was down from an all-time high. And then
June
Ethereum
17.
made its all-time high like afterwards, which is kind of like what's going on now. So that kind of worries me, is like, I hope that's like, this wasn't it for Bitcoin, like you hit 42K.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but
and like now
yeah, that Ethereum spike. Bitcoin had a dip that week too. So Bitcoin back at that same time period of Ethereum's high.
Mm-hmm.
What are we looking at? Bitcoin dips down to 2,124.
How much?
$2,124.
Yeah, but most people probably didn't get. I mean, that's a real.
That was the spike back here, the one off.
Yeah. So,
what is
something.
that spike? Oh my god.
It definitely look a lot different. This USD chart looks way different than the Bitcoin chart for Ethereum.
Ooh, I remember that crazy wick down to like 12 cents. You guys remember that?
What, where Ethereum was 12 cents for a day for a quick penny course?
Oh, that one. Oh, yeah. I do remember that.
All the way to the left.
Imagine if you had a buy-in for that and you just got lucky and somehow your order, like for $5 Ethereum, just
$13 and it bounced right back to 360.
That was it. Some whale just market bought.
Yeah.
Or market sold.
I forget how that goes, but they use some of the leveraged platforms, but they buy on another platform.
I think they just market sold on Coinbase with like a huge amount. And then it just drove the price all the way the fuck down.
Trigger that cascading stop loss, yeah.
Yeah. Not a limit order, but a market order, which just eats up everything on the way down.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Let's see here.
Yeah, well, that was the news. Ethereum all-time high price.
Yeah, and also there was another thing too. Maybe if I'll share my screen.
Ethereum?
Yeah. Actually, this when is this event coming up? This MicroStrategy is hosting like
February 3rd.
February 3rd. And to do that, do we know anything about that? Where 4:45 Eastern? No, 12 o'clock.
Starts at noon, February 3rd. Thousands of executives, officers, and directors and advisors of corporations coming together in the first week of February, and they all want to figure out how to plug Bitcoin into their balance sheet.
How do we get a ticket?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. How can you what is it? Like online conference or something like that?
I don't
be
think
like,
people like us are invited.
Probably a secret group of like publicly traded company CEOs or something.
Matt, you could be the CEO of Graveyard Crypto and reach out and see. Maybe he'll take a bite. I don't know.
Yeah. Why not? Why not?
I'm not sure what the criteria is to join them, but I don't think we meet it. Maybe we do, and maybe you just have to pay some kind of admission. I'm not
Why
sure.
not? You could
Maybe
probably
they'll
go-
just say, no, I'm not going to say it.
you could probably go on their website and they might have some information on it. So maybe you could actually maybe it's publicly
Oh, here it is, yeah. Publicly available. Oh,
Yeah.
we'll just go.
So
Publicly
Yeah.
available.
so maybe February 3rd, I'll have to check my schedule, but if I can attend that would be great. You know, if anybody else can, you know.
I'll look into it too. Maybe we could do a live stream.
Yeah, either
Look
that.
into that too. But I guess just to clarify, yeah, with everyone listening, Michael Saylor is trying to explain to other corporate entities why putting Bitcoin on their balance sheet would be a good idea for them going into the future.
Yeah, think about it. Imagine if Tesla or Apple does it, you know, right then and there. I mean,
I feel like Elon, I could see that happening sooner than later.
Elon has so much push and pull on Twitter when he just goes like Dogecoin and the price of Dogecoin goes up like 75%, you know, or whatever. Like
Just because he wrote a tweet, silly
one
tweet.
word Doge, and like it's like, man, like imagine if Elon really started like going into Bitcoin like that, you know, forget about it.
Yep. And like I said, Apple, Google, a few of those other names too. That's it. That's all you need anymore.
Oh yeah, then the price is gonna easily blow past 50,000 at that point, and then you know, at that point now governments should probably be looking at it because they're going to be looking and going, you know, or central banks and stuff too. I'm sure central banks probably already buying it, but you know,
Quietly, they're pretending they're fighting it.
yeah.
Speaking of Doge, I just figured I'd pull this up. I saw this come up. Flare, as I believe, was what people were just buying XRP because they got the Flare airdrop.
Yeah,
not
I
that
still
long
have
ago. And now I've heard that Flare is working with Litecoin and now apparently Doge too.
I don't even know what the hell Flare is.
I think I would have to read. I almost don't want to even speculate. The impression I get though is that it adds smart contracts to these platforms.
Okay. Yeah, but I mean, hey, I got if you had XRP, you got 1-to-1 free airdrop of the Flare token. So maybe it winds up becoming something valuable. But if the Flare token magically just came out, I wouldn't be buying it, you know.
Maybe it's a DeFi network. I'm not sure. I'm gonna look more into that. We'll talk about Flare one of these days.
Are
It's
they
associated with Ripple. Like, who cares?
You're right. Let's just move on.
well, are they associated with Ripple?
I mean, you get it for holding Ripple.
I think that's where they started out.
Yeah.
I'm getting the impression by some of reading a few of those headlines though that it's more of a DeFi.
Yeah, it was the setup for the SEC dump. You know,
That's what it looked like.
It was just an inside job.
Yeah.
Fucking Ripple shitcoin. Sorry, YouTube. POS.
Algorithms coming to get you.
Yeah. So what else would I say? I have some stuff with Ethereum.
You want to share?
Yeah, I'll bring it up real quick. So I don't know if this is coming up. I get anything? There we go. So I guess they pulled off $1.6 billion in Ethereum from the exchanges. So that goes back to that stuff we were looking at with Bitcoin and the amount of Bitcoin on the exchanges. So the less that's on there circulating on exchanges, you know, the more expensive it probably, or the more, you know, it's going to go up in price. So if you look at,
yeah,
right. And the thing is with Ethereum is if people or companies or corporations or whoever are actually running an ETH 2.0 node, which takes at least 32 ETH per node, and if they're running a bunch of them, once that goes on that network, it's locked up basically until the network is like, you know, finished, which is probably in like 2 years. I mean, that's projected 2 years. It could be even longer the way some of you know, these what do you call dates are getting thrown out. So, you know, and also DeFi, which is another thing that we talk about too. So a lot of these companies might just be locking it up on DeFi, and you know, if they're putting millions and millions of dollars in, like Greg and I were speaking about this, how on Uniswap it has about 3 billion. That's the number, right?
Yeah, 3.25 billion.
Yeah.
We actually hit a all-time high today as far as total value locked in DeFi, at $26.5 billion worth of value.
Yeah. So that's all locked up, right? And if people are earning high interest and making money off that, they're not looking to sell it. You know,
It's
they're
turning into a black hole.
right. They're
Just collecting rent now.
right. They're just using their assets to earn income, which is
Why is that higher market cap on Uniswap, that community's market cap, so important? Like, what's the benefit of that?
Why do they have 3 billion and others have less?
I mean, you were expressing like you're happy to see that the number is that high. Like, what is the benefit for the network, yourself?
Well, it's showing growth at a rapid rate. I mean, you're talking about a year ago. How much did they have? Like a year ago from today in DeFi, there was less like $900 million in DeFi.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's 26.5 billion a year in 1 year.
Yeah, huge growth.
So, I mean,
I guess I was just curious if that meant potentially it was more secure or something along those lines.
like what happened? Why the explosion? I mean,
I just didn't know if it's being used more. I guess in the back of my mind, I'm thinking a lot of people might be hesitant to use DeFi because it's not FDIC insured or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's for me, it's I would see it as the opposite because perhaps all the red tape and KYC rules for centralized exchanges kind of creates, and all this stuff is happening with the tax laws not being written as this industry's grow. So no one knows what to do in regards to taxes, particularly in DeFi. I mean, in the United States, what all they said was Bitcoin is property and will be charged as capital gains if you make a trade for it. But what about using your coins as collateral to draw cash equivalent stable coins of, and then you're lending those out in pairs and DeFi? Like, what's the tax story? You don't know. But in DeFi, it's kind of like a whole new ecosystem where there's no KYC and you don't even need to release your coins to another exchange. Like if you do centralized trading, you have to send your coins to their database off of your personal wallets. And there's a risk there, right? There's a complete air gap between your coins and the central exchange that they're on. But in DeFi, you could do business while retaining all your coins on your personal wallets, which is really interesting. And there's no KYC. You're literally just dealing with the Ethereum smart contracts and the Ethereum blockchain.
It's its own network, its own
complete own network, its own ecosystem, and there's no middlemen whatsoever.
Actually gives you the power to be your own bank.
Yeah, except for the rug pullers. Obviously.
I guess that's kind of what I was asking. If the platform has that much money on it for someone who's just doing basic things like loaning out DAI, how much of it is the rug pulling an issue? The bigger that market cap gets, it seems to me that the rug pulling would become less of an issue.
Less of an issue, yeah. I mean, there was a rug pull on Sushi Swap. There's some rug pulls on Harvest, some other like really big sites, and there's some interesting reactions to those, like the one with Sushi where they rug pulled, but then they gave all the money back.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
that was interesting. So it's very weird. It's happening, but definitely the risks are involved as far as getting rug pulled. Any liquidity that you put up on these DeFi platforms, someone can just take it if they wanted to.
right.
But if they do, then they kind of shoot themselves in the foot, and now all the future liquidity in the space will go somewhere else, and reputation's gone.
Well, that's the thing about too, like, right? Like, why is Ethereum? Because like, there's a lot of people that are Bitcoin maximalists, and like, don't get me wrong, like, I think Bitcoin is the number one. I think that if you don't have any cryptocurrency or you're just looking to get into cryptocurrency, like you should have Bitcoin, and that should be the first thing you buy, and that should be the first thing you should learn about, and first thing that you should learn how to use. and everything else. And, I think it drives me crazy when I see people that are new getting started and they start showing like, oh, I bought this and I bought that and I bought this. And then I look and there's no Bitcoin in their portfolio. And I'm like, yo, where's your Bitcoin? And they go, and again, this goes back to the psychology, right? Human psychology. They see $33,000. So they say, I don't have $33,000. I can't get a Bitcoin. They don't think like, oh, I could just put $100 a week away and buy it every week, get 300,000 sats every purchase. Because again, 100 million Satoshis, one Bitcoin. So it's easy when you're buying, instead of saying 0.0003, just say 300,000 sats. I'm getting 300,000 sats every week. And guess what? It adds up after, doing it for a whole year. It adds up. And then next thing you know, you have like 0.2 Bitcoin or something like that, or whatever, whatever the number is.
Yeah.
And then
the price of Bitcoin's going up at the same time. It really pays off.
Right. Exactly. And if you just do that and you do that for 5 years, and then you go, oh man, like I actually now have a nice savings account or whatever you want to call it. And that's why if you're new, you buy Bitcoin, because like people, they ask me about that and I say buy Bitcoin. Then after you get down the Bitcoin rabbit hole, you get familiar with it, then maybe look at Ethereum and some of the other Chainlink or Polkadot, ADA, whatever, Uniswap, like then maybe you look into some of these things because they are being used, and Ethereum is being used just like I have showed up here. I mean, if you're using, a cryptocurrency that you're basically getting interest off of it because you're generating DAI and at a small, 3% interest rate that you got to pay back, but then you're loaning it out or yielding it at, 14, 15%, then it'll pay itself. You'll that's good to do. And we actually we did an episode on that, right? I mean, I'll probably have it pop up right now. But the thing is you need to, if you don't have any cryptocurrency, please don't buy like what was the guy? I was looking on Twitter. There's a rapper, I guess his name is
Soldier Boy.
Soldier Boy. And maybe you could pull up, Jeff, maybe real quick while I'm talking, just like see if you can find it. I'll stop sharing. But like there was a thing, and it was so funny because this is when the Have Fun Staying Poor popped up, which is nothing to do against poor people. It's just like, oh, I bought like this like low cap coin, blah blah blah, and I bought this and I bought that, and then you have you didn't buy any Bitcoin.
Yeah, Have Fun Staying Poor is not an insult to poor people. It's an insult to people who are just continuing to show ignorance to this whole market. Like, say something stupid that has been rebutted 1,000 times already, and you're gonna get memed with Have Fun Staying Poor, because we don't want anyone to be poor. We're literally rooting for everybody to get on this lifeboat and learn this technology. So Have Fun Staying Poor is a meme in the Bitcoin world, but it's really no insult against poor people, just to the ignorant or people who just keeping a closed mind.
It's probably 2 days ago, Jeff, on this, because I was like, hey, here it is, this one right here. How do I purchase XRP? Right? And then click scroll, click that one. How do I purchase XRP? And I go to the comments, like, down, and it's like, you
don't need that shit, my dude.
Drink.
Step one, drink an entire bottle of rubbing alcohol.
DM Raul Paul.
Yeah. Change your handle, Soldier Boy meme.
Like,
is this a joke?
Yeah. So that's what we're saying. Like, instead of like, he should just,
just set your money on fire instead.
Yeah.
I love those characters, man. Right, Paul?
Oh God. Like, and I still hold XRP, but this is like,
oh my God.
Like, this is why I love like crypto Twitter or Bitcoin, whatever you call it. It's
the best.
Yeah,
it is so funny. Like,
Troll Central, and we all love it.
And it's funny too because like I would say like 90% of people don't get these jokes. Like,
I know, because they're winning. Like, they're in the first place.
Like, here it is. Look, guys, thanks guys. Bought some BNB. Did you buy TRKO? Like, what's next? And people are like, where's your Bitcoin? Do you see?
There you go, Graveyard Crypto, right on the top.
BCH.
There you go. Do you even have Bitcoin? Come on.
No, I have Bcash, bitch.
Like no, BSV.
What does he got? Binance Coin, Digibyte, Tron, and some other ones that I don't even know what these are.
What's next? Let's go.
Like, and it's like, dude, don't do that. Like, I mean, obviously this guy's probably has millions of dollars to throw away at this.
Yeah, but you know how many idiots probably read that and went and bought it?
Oh yeah. Well, that's if you ever see there's a thing. It's actually kind of funny. Maybe you can pull it up too or on Twitter. Type in TikTok investors or something like that. I was sending you guys some stuff. I'm like, I don't know if this is real or not. Like, I really don't, because I don't know. Like, the stuff that they were saying, was just like, I don't know if this is being sarcastic or not. And there's a handle called like TikTok investors, and I was like dying.
No, and they actually can swing the market.
Oh, and it's crazy. That's why you see some of these stocks. They say, hey, I really like this one. They got 500,000 to 1 million followers, and then next thing you know, here it's at TikTok investors.
Spell TikTok. TICTOK?
No, TIK.
That's what I'm doing wrong.
So and some of these things, I mean, I don't know if your thing's gonna play though, because I don't know if you had that worked out, but like some of these things, like I was like crying, like in tears, because I was like, how can this be?
I'm following them too. Look at that.
How can this be real? Like, let's see. We'll click this one. Can you hear? You never got it working with your sound, dude. Maybe I'll see if I can pull it up. But like some of these things are
Can't hear it?
No. You have to probably have it same as whatever. Remember we were talking about that earlier. But like it's just, again, you buy Bitcoin. It's the easiest, safest thing to do. And then if you want to get some other stuff, I mean, like again, Ethereum, I like it because it does.
Come on, I'm just kidding.
It does a lot, but compared to any of the other stuff, like, man, I'm just looking at this stuff. But some of this stuff, if you guys don't have Twitter or not, like, just go on there and click some of this stuff, and you'll laugh because, like, like, and this one guy was like, oh, people want to know how we get to do all these things on vacation. And he's like, well, I buy a stock, and when it goes up, I sell it right before and then when it goes down, I buy it. And then people and I was just like,
if that's actually been working this year, if you did that in 2020, you won. Everything was going up,
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people with the stock market in general, a lot of it's being pumped into it because there's nowhere to, where do you put your money, right? Like, besides crypto, right? I mean, where do you put your money into? You don't want to hold cash. It's a bad move if you're sitting on hundreds of thousands or millions or whatever, even thousands of dollars, and you're not doing anything with that money. It's just sitting on the sideline, and you're thinking like, oh, I'm saving for this, and it's like, yeah, you're losing money. Like in a year, your money is not.
Purchasing power is going down every day.
Yeah, and
I mean, where's the best place to put $1,000 right now?
Probably Bitcoin, right?
I mean, I don't see any place better.
Maybe some like solar or like energy stocks, like
what's a popular thing I've been getting like from no coiners? It's like, too bad you can't do anything with Bitcoin.
What are you talking about? It's like, what? Like,
but like you could take that at both extremes. You could either give them like the long-winded kind of like talk to them for days, or you could say, I mean, yeah, you really can't do anything with it. There's really only 3 essential things that you do with Bitcoin.
Money, right?
Hold it, sell it, or buy it without any permission from anybody.
Or use it in transactions to buy goods and services as like money, right?
But that's what I'm saying. But like, just to simplify it, yeah, Bitcoin doesn't do anything.
You can't do that with
hold
stock.
it, buy it, or sell it without any permission.
Right, but you can't do that with stock.
No, you can't. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So when somebody, like, let's say I'm sitting on like Google shares, like, I can't go and like, all right, I'm gonna buy a house with my Google shares. Like, that doesn't work like that. You have to sell your Google shares, and then you have to wait for the market to open too. You can't just sell it immediately.
Or you have to carry your sorry ass into a brick and mortar bank and say, hey guys, I got like 100K worth of Google stock. Can you give me a loan off that?
Can I please use it?
Can I please do that? And maybe they will, maybe they won't.
Yeah.
But in Bitcoin, you could do the same thing. Throw your Bitcoin on the Ethereum blockchain in the form of WBTC or MBTC, and throw it in a MakerDAO vault and draw cash off it, and then go buy whatever you want.
Or, if you don't want to loan it, you could also just use it to buy it. Like, so you have enough and you're like, oh, it's not really that much. Fine.
Yeah, but who sells appreciating assets?
I don't think I ever want to sell. Like that's, and I have the conversation with my father all the time, and we have this talk, and he's like, oh, you should sell some. And I'm like, for what? Like,
Yeah.
I don't really need anything, first of all. And second of all,
I mean,
like,
definitely as I experience more DeFi, and
what was
start
that?
to care less about price. You hear me?
Yeah, no, sorry.
You start to care less about the actual price movements of the assets if you're earning income, passive income off the asset themselves. As
Right.
long as you're earning like a good return consistently and the overall growth trend is up, like who cares about the daily, weekly, monthly volatility?
I
Just
think
keep-
that's why Powell is really interested in this space, because he's coming from the bond markets where they didn't usually, or at least only care about price appreciation, but you cared more about the yield you were getting.
Yeah, you want fixed income.
Right. That's the best way to have anything, right? It's just,
And people are missing the fixed income play in crypto.
So far.
yeah. I mean, I look at ADA, right? I'm staking it, and it doesn't take anything to stake it. And literally just, I set up a wallet.
Matt, I think you're having some microphone issues, man.
You hear me now?
I could hear you. It was giving some kind of feedback though.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds good now.
Yeah, it's better.
So anyway, what I was saying though is, with the ADA, Cardano, whatever you want to call it, with the staking, I set up a wallet, really easy to do. I have the private keys. I put them somewhere safe. I then deposit my Ethereum from an exchange that I bought into a wallet. I put it on a wallet. I go on the wallet itself. Then they have the stake pools on there. I join a stake pool, and that's it. I forgot it. I don't have to do anything. My computer can be off. It doesn't have to be running. And then if I go, I check my wallet like once every week. I have acquired like more ADA, which is an appreciation. It's appreciating in price, and I'm gaining more of it through every epoch. So every 5 days they have an epoch, and that's when the rewards are given out in the stake pools. Like that's, and what would be nice is at some point you get to a point where you have enough where you can literally just have that going on. You still have your Bitcoin, whatever, that's your store of value. You don't have to sell any of that. Next thing you know, you have an appreciation. It's an asset that you're earning that weekly. And maybe at some point you could just use that, those weekly, rewards to do, whatever you want to do, maybe.
That's true. If you think about it, I think the ADA rewards are approximately 5%. If you think of it in those terms, to live just a kind of an average, like an okay life, if you had $1 million of ADA, you'd make $50,000 a year.
Right, but my point is like, let's just say you bought.
You would do a lot better with 500,000 of Ethereum and 500,000 stablecoin.
Agreed.
Right.
But just to give an example, 10%, whatever that is, $1 million instead of spending it.
But it's good to have
finance and live a life,
all these things. And
I just don't care for ADA.
I hear you, but my point is
I know there's passive income to make in this market.
Right, and that's all I'm saying is,
I found this out using Exodus Wallet, talking with Jay, and this is a wallet I've been using for a while, but it does all the things we were just talking about. I don't know, do you guys use this wallet at all?
No.
So you can see here, I only have a couple little scraps of crypto on here, a little bit of Ethereum, a few other things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I have a small balance here. But this is the overview, Exodus Wallet.
Nice.
Is the wallet itself. I like it, very user-friendly.
You can connect this to your mobile wallet, or is it strictly a desktop?
This can be mobile, this can be PC, yes.
And it's like
you'll have one seed phrase for the entire wallet. So
okay.
I think that's what you're about to ask, right?
Yeah.
One seed phrase, one password for the entire wallet. Built all these different assets. I think there's even more that I haven't added.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, all the major ones, obviously, you see. I have some old BitTorrent token here. I got airdropped, little Ethereum.
Can that wallet, can you use like a hardware wallet to connect to that?
I believe you can. I'll have to get back to you on that. This
All
is
right,
something
well,
maybe I'll do a little more of a thorough walkthrough in one of our videos.
yeah, because
I wanted to touch on like, and being in New York State, we've talked about we have some issues with exchanges and stuff. In this wallet, there's an exchange right within the wallet itself. So you can go from all these assets to all these assets
you're
right within the
basically
same wallet. You're
bypassing.
never losing custody of your coins,
Oh, you could swap within the wallet for different
Yes.
coins?
Although I
That's cool.
will add that the fees are higher than the other exchange fees, but at the same time, you're never letting go of your private keys,
Yeah, everything happens
around.
within
So that, so potentially here, let's say I wanted to take my Bitcoin and either change it to DAI, stablecoin potentially, or maybe ADA, whichever it might be. Up here, you see we have compound finance tab. You can stake DAI
unavailable.
right in within the wallet. I think there's more functionality to this too. I just haven't tried it yet.
Do you know
Right on the
why it's
surface.
picking up that it's like New York State instead of unavailable? Do you know why it's
Which with this, if I was actually going to do these things, you just turn on a VPN and you're good to go. There's no
Oh, okay.
KYC.
I
I
got you.
still don't understand why it has to be like that. And again, if it's
One more thing though, Matt, before you, I just wanted to also show, so you can do what Greg and Matt have been talking about with getting yield off of your stable coins in the Ethereum network. You could also, within this wallet, any of these projects that offer staking, you can do all of these right within the wallet. And you see, I helped Jay actually set up, he got some Cardano, he swapped from within the wallet, he dragged it right over here, he just hit get rewards, and it's staking ADA right now in the same wallet.
Yeah, see, the thing is though, with that, I feel like it's better off you just getting like a dataless wallet that's strictly for Cardano, and then you can pick what stake pools you want. You could see all the stake pools listed.
I definitely agree. I just like this for the fact that for someone like Jay, who is not ready to go do all that, this was very easy for him to use. And you can
No,
get
it's definitely more user friendly, and also some people might want one thing to go to for everything versus having like 10 different wallets for 10 different cryptocurrencies and each having a different user interface and learning all of them. So if you just learn Exodus, I could understand like for a beginner maybe the benefits of it, because all they need to do is get familiar with that. They can have everything on there.
very easy to understand, very user friendly.
Right.
Yep, great way to get started. That is my point. Yes.
So you know what, too, maybe we'll have to do a video like we were talking about to just go straight about talking about the Exodus wallet, maybe a setup or something like that.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that soon.
Like a short form video or something like
I'll
that.
do that. I could send a little Bitcoin to one or something and do like a few little things with it.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And like too, I was thinking maybe like we were speaking about too, because I actually got a different hardware wallet. And Greg, I don't know if you know anything about this one too, the Coin Kite Cold Card wallet.
I mean, it was on the top of my list of hardware wallets to research and get myself familiar with, just because it has a reputation for the best security.
Yeah. So what's nice about that too, it's like an air gapped like hardware wallet where you don't have to connect your wallet to the computer. You kind of use like a micro SD card that you basically go as the go-between. But I mean, you can connect it if you want, like let's say whatever, like you want to connect it straight to your computer or your phone, you can do that. But there's like I think an app called Wasabi app or Wasabi wallet that you just go on. It's kind of common too because it's like use partially signed transactions, so it's a little bit more of a lengthy process to send and receive Bitcoin. Receiving is a little bit easier, but to send Bitcoin, it's a little bit more of a process because now you have to take a file, drag it onto your computer, then you have to open up. So like you go through sending the Bitcoin on, so you go through on the wallet to set it up. And then after you go and send Bitcoin on the wallet, you have to take that little file and then you have to bring it into your cold card. You put the micro SD memory card in there. Then you go through, you enter your password or whatever on your cold card. Then after you're done, you send the transaction, you take it out, you put it back in the other computer, and then you sign it again. So I guess it's like a lengthier process and a more secure kind of thing. So it was pretty complicated. I was like, wow, this is a little different compared to using other hardware wallets.
Well, it's a
where-
good thing for if you're doing long-term storage. It's a good thing that it's complicated to take the Bitcoin off of there.
Right.
Because you were just explaining that to me, and I was even like, wait a minute, what? You know, and I'm
Yeah.
sure I understand it if you maybe explain a little more concisely, or I saw it being done.
There are videos.
Not being able to access some of your Bitcoin easily is a very good thing. Yeah.
It is good, but then like I said, it's just it's good for long-term storage. It's something that you want to put
That's your vault, basically.
on there and not really touch it unless you need it for whatever. Then that's the way to do it. But if you're going to be using it like every day or whatever, then you probably get it off with one that you're directly connecting to your computer.
Well, that's a good situation for that Exodus wallet then, where your everyday Bitcoin that you're using.
Right.
Software wallet,
Yeah, I like just all the security features that you have in that cold card wallet.
Oh,
I heard something like, you could kind of have a secret word that
Yes.
you ever like gun to your head, like
Yes.
send your shit over. It'd be like, okay. And then you put like your fake word in and it'll take you to a different Bitcoin wallet, which maybe has less Bitcoin on it.
Right.
And then, you could
set
on
up
the spot, you could change it. But I mean, maybe the guy is aware that he'll just force another word in.
Maybe, but that reminds me of a story of there was a guy in Argentina decades ago. I heard the story of anyway, where they went around, they had a recession, and the military or whoever was going around and taking everyone's silver and gold.
Yep.
So he buried it in his backyard, and he went and showed them the one box that had some of it, and he didn't show them the other box. Like he gave them enough for them to go away.
Same thing.
Sounds like the same principle, really.
Well, isn't that the thing of having like if somebody robs you on the street, you could have like a stash that you keep in your sock, and then you have your other things. So if they ask for something, like you give them something, but you're not really giving them like everything. And sometimes they're just happy to get like a score.
Give them enough to make them go away. Yeah.
Right, and move on with that. And actually, with those things, what you were talking about, Greg, I think you could almost set up not infinite amount, but like you could set up like 100 of those secret word ones. So like you could literally be there all day long trying to unlock your
I mean, security is crazy thing as it is. I mean, that is a whole field that's going to get completely built out. I mean, there's fail safes to even prevent you from being able to provide a seed phrase to someone holding you up, because you could cut the seed phrase up and put it into different locations where you literally have to travel to each location to get the full seed phrase.
The only problem with that is like, and Andreas Antonopoulos talks about this a lot, is sometimes you do that, you might be your own worst enemy, and you might wind up shooting yourself in the foot because you might lose like two words that unless you're going to memorize those two words or something like that, or one word that you just memorize that one word and then everything else is, everywhere else. So they can't access it as long as you know that one word. But, you just he says like, don't do that. Andrew Sample says, do not do that. Because if you do that,
put up your passphrase.
Yeah. He says like, it's because, things happen, man. Strange things happen. And then that you lose half of it. Next thing you know, like
all right, say you split up a seed phrase into four chunks, and you put it in a safety deposit box in 4 different cities.
Right.
You take a copy and you put those four pieces into 4 different cities, safety deposit boxes. Like, what is wrong with that?
Well, I think the better bet would be is take 2/3 of it and separate it into 3s. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't, as long as you have 2 out of the 3 locations, you could still get your stuff. So let's just say, for instance, that bank, there's a riot and the people break into the bank and they burn the bank down and your paper is gone.
Right.
Now, you have no way of accessing that. But
if
you have 3 locations and each location has a 2/3 of that seed phrase, then maybe that would work like that.
Yeah, that's even better.
So if one place goes down, then you don't lose everything. But as long as you can go to 2 out of the 3 places,
you'll get it.
Right. And I think that would be a better approach.
Right.
Than just do half and half or quarter.
Yeah. I definitely haven't thought this out much, but I'm just excited to see how like security and all the creative ways people will become with holding their stash.
Well, think about it.
I think that's one of the services what you were describing that Casa actually provides, Matt, that 2/3 thing.
Yeah, because the thing about it, when industry is worth trillions of dollars at some point, like it would only make sense for some companies to only put their focus on this.
Right.
Like and that company that does that, they're going to be probably a big like Google or something like that.
Yeah, you
because
solve a problem for a lot of people. You're
you're
gonna
in
be rich.
charge
$3 trillion company soon,
of the world's reserve currency, like and safety of it. Now, obviously, you're not the only one in charge of it, but you make that like your everything. Like that's all I do is I make sure that people, if they want to start with us, it's going to be safe forever, and that's what So that there's definitely going to be a market for that for somebody.
That's where my play on like existing commercial banks. Like, go back to being a bank, guys. Like that's what you're good at. Like, go provide these services. You don't have to die with the rest of companies that are going to die in this next reset. It's essential banks that we have problems with. Not so much the commercial banks, right?
Yes. And I think with Max Kaiser was talking about the first one he thinks going to collapse is like the European central banks. He said that, the ECBs are the first ones that are going to go.
Yeah.
And it looks like it. I mean,
Followed
Well,
by
that's what I think.
Australia
You
and
start hearing
Canada.
some of the talk that China already has a digital yuan out. If the
Right.
ECB falls before they can get some other infrastructure in place, you might see Europe start leaning on that digital yuan system instead.
Oh yeah.
I could see the potential for that happening, and I've heard chatter about that.
Chinese communist yuan. I mean,
I mean, if there's people that don't see any other option to lean on as far as a monetary system, and that's all you have, I could see people ending up there.
yeah, probably the best is the Swiss franc still.
Yeah. I was reading like one of the books, and they were talking about like even that's lost its thing because like back in the 90s it was the way to be.
It still has no tie to gold. Where
Right.
it was the last one to have a certain percentage tied to gold still, but that's gone, and it's gone.
Yeah, there's no reason for like a lot of this stuff that's going on. And I was again online debates. I don't know why I talk to certain people, but some guy was telling me about Bitcoin and how it's like useless and blah blah. And because I could tell right away he was like a big gold bug. So what happened was he's like, if a nuclear bomb goes off, then Bitcoin's dead. I was like, if a nuclear bomb goes off, then we're all dead. We don't got to be worried about money.
What a terrible argument.
Like we're gonna if a
It's
nuclear
gonna be
bomb,
like burning with radiation. Like
right,
it's okay.
if a nuclear bomb goes off, nobody's gonna want gold, nobody's gonna silver. The only thing that's gonna matter is food, water, and like bullets. That's it. And maybe a safe area that's does not loaded with radiation, and you could grow food and vegetables and stuff.
Bitcoin's trash. If the whole world dies, it won't
Right.
work.
If the whole world dies, then the whole world. Then guess what? You got bigger problems than worrying about what's going on with money. Because
Exactly.
that you're literally, you want to talk about the Great Reset. That's
like the whole point of this is to have an option when everything is going to shit. Like you're missing the whole picture by trying to find a way, something wrong with it.
And
this
they
is
talk
supposed
about
to
gold.
save you, not destroy you.
Right. And they talk about gold. Well, what it is just some people just they're stuck. They just, no matter what you do, they're just stuck in their ways, and that's the way it is. But
glancing through the graveyard crypto right now, and there's just like the SpongeBob meme you just posted like I don't know how many times.
Yeah. Because I didn't want to argue. Like I wasn't gonna. It wasn't worth my time to actually like write a smart and like accurate response. Like you're like, dude, you're not worth my time. Like unless you actually like there's somebody like that. Like no, you're not. Like anyway, but so
your mic that keeps chopping up.
I think it's Matt's mic.
I don't know. It's the price of Bitcoin going up. That's what's going up right now.
Yeah, right.
It better be going up a lot for all that mic noise we're hearing. It's ridiculous.
Hard to get through.
Is it really that bad?
It's coming out intermittently, but sometimes it's pretty bad.
It might be a connection issue somewhere.
That's what it sounds like.
I wonder if it's gonna get picked up on the recording.
Probably.
We'll find out.
Sorry,
With that being said, I mean, it's getting a little late for me, and I do have some things to do this week, so I got to get up at a decent hour.
All right.
I mean, anything else you want to talk over before we start wrapping up, or?
No, I mean, there's plenty to talk about, but I mean, we can go forever if we really wanted to, but
I think we just do a quick forecast on the Bitcoin chart. And
yeah, And also maybe pull
wrap
up
it
ETH BTC, ETH USD, and BTC USD, and just take
All
a
right, what
look.
do you want to see? So you got
Let's look
big,
at
USD. Start there.
yeah. Let's start with Big
And
Mama
then
Bitcoin.
look at Ethereum USD and then Ethereum to Bitcoin.
oh, here's Bitcoin.
Is that chart updated?
This is
That's-
BLX, so it's
That's not right
settled
price.
daily. This chart is settled. You want to do a different one?
Yeah, let's go with current price, because right now it's, I think, 33.7. So also Chainlink has been doing pretty well too. That's been hitting all-time highs. I think like
I pulled up
25.
I pulled up a few Chainlink charts.
Chainlink's
All-time
over.
highs against the dollar. Not against.
Well, I wait for that to load because that's giving me some problems. Here's Ethereum USD.
Yeah, now that's what, a daily?
This is weekly.
Weekly?
We going tighter?
Yeah, let's do tighter.
I mean, similar to Bitcoin, you look at that trend since the dip in March. It's like,
Yeah.
this computer is lagging.
You want me to screen share? I don't know.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
I see Ethereum hitting 2,000 real soon.
You guys know I'm a big Ichimoku Cloud fan. Looking
Yes.
at Bitcoin USD daily. You still see my screen?
Yep.
Mhm.
Bitcoin to USDT. I like to use USDT on Binance because it has the biggest market share percentage-wise on its spot Bitcoin market. But on the daily Ichimoku Cloud with the crypto settings of 30, 60, 120, 20, or 20, 60, 120, 30. Yeah. You got the key June line here, which is like a 50% fib level.
Which color is that one?
The red one.
Okay.
It's also known as a key June. It was nice to see this little wick right at that key June. It's a nice spot to put buy orders in on the way up, which, we bounce right off it. I wouldn't be surprised to see resistance now at the blue line, which is like a 9 moving average or so.
What do you call the blue line?
The Tekken.
The key June and Tekken?
Yeah, Tekken
Video
and key
game?
June. Yeah.
Okay.
But everything's still looking nice and bullish as far as the daily is concerned. You got a bullish cloud. The fast moving average is over the slow moving average, blue over red. You have the lagging span over the cloud and the prices over the cloud. So if we could break back above this, I mean, it's going to be a nice continuation. Whittling down, I like to start out and see like where we're losing. Like that's 3-day, 6-day, that's a week.
I don't think I'm keeping up with your chart. I'm still looking at the Bitcoin chart.
Yeah, so we're still on the Bitcoin chart, but I'm just trying to start on a large scale as far as the cloud's concerned and work my way down to see where the bears have control.
Which time frame you mean?
Yeah, which time frame? So the bulls have control.
I'm not seeing those changes in time frame though.
Yeah, something's lagging. I don't know.
Oh, really? Let me see.
And we're all having technical problems today.
This is the 12-hour chart, Bitcoin.
Okay. Now I see your mouse cursor too, so that's good.
Yeah, so this is where you were kind of at that cross point between bulls and bears having a challenge.
So we really want to see a nice push from the bulls right now.
We do, and it's kind of happening. You could see the blue is crossing the red. That's a really bearish kind of indicator as far as the time frame. And you'll see on the time frames lower than this, we've already lost it.
Yeah.
So if we could get a nice close on this current 12-hour, we might be able to save some.
Yeah, ideally it just the blue bounces off the red line and we continue upwards, basically, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
But even personally, like I like to use the Heikinashi candles, which just kind of makes it a little cleaner trend look. I would look for 2 down candles closing within the cloud. So I got one right here, but no confirmation. And then I actually had confirmation to the upside. So that would remain my long until I got back close inside. But again, no confirmation. And then even no confirmation on the next one.
This looks like it's
So-
consolidating there.
A lot of indecision on this time frame.
Yeah, but this would be like, if this closes like this, I would be back long. But I would look for 2 consecutive closes in here to guarantee like a touch on the opposite side of the cloud,
Mm.
which is what's happening in the lower time frame. So if we go to the 4-hour, which, last week I was surprised that we never touched the opposite side of the cloud. We fought out of it a few times, and I was like shocked. I'm like, I can't believe we didn't touch the other side of the cloud. But the cloud doesn't mess around. It got what it wanted eventually. And once we visited inside here, we eventually broke out and broke down.
And I see in that's the 4-hour chart. I see the clouds flipped to bearish out in front of the price action, right?
Right. And what's interesting here, see this right here? This is called a Kumo Twist.
Okay.
It's the smallest, it's the least volume area where if you could cut price through that way, it's like a nice, easy way to go back to full bull. Whereas when you enter the cloud on like a wide chunk of the cloud, you're going to be fighting a lot with it.
Yeah, so then you got to get in the cloud and then back out of the top. Whereas if the lines are close together, you can kind of just blast right through in one shot.
Right.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of
interesting
cool
indicator
that we have this there. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for, what is this, by 3 a.m, January 26th.
About 2 days from now.
2 days from now, hopefully we'll be breaking through that Kumo Twist.
And what's that price at approximately? 35.4?
35.4, yeah. Yep.
So would you call that your price prediction for a week from now? Does that tie into that?
I think more than
A week from now, I mean, if we break through that in 2 days,
40.
I mean, we're probably going to be going back up to 40 or so. So no confirmation yet. If it's all, I'm just seeing what happens by the 26th. If we could close above this Kumo Twist. If we reject from there, I'd expect further downside.
How about an either or? So you said if it breaks through, we'll look at it testing 40 again. What if it rejects?
If it rejects, then we're going to come back down and test 28.
The recent low. Okay.
Yeah, the recent low.
Okay.
That's about it for Bitcoin. Any time frames less than that, I mean, that's getting to the Wild West.
This is noise.
Typically, I like to look at the daily for the overall trend, which is up, so nice and healthy. 4 hours where I would look for my actual setups using a Kumo Twists or, entering the cloud edge-to-edge trades, or just looking for the overall general breakouts using the 4-hour. And then 1 hour, I would go in and look for my actual like entry or exit target just to hone out and get like a better deal. Those are the time frames I like to use.
That more swing trading, I suppose, right?
Yeah. Checking again on Bitcoin on a different style of chart that I like to use using Renko bars. This takes time out of the equation. It strictly moves the chart based on price. I like to set this, you manually set the price of each square box.
Okay.
I like to set them at 1% of the asset price. So currently I have it at 350, which is, roughly, it's taking 1% of 35,000, but each box as it closes, it's worth $350 in value. But I'm using the Bollinger Bands with a 12 and 26 moving average. Obviously, I always look for the faster moving average to be over the slower moving average. But like right here would have been a buy.
Okay.
The
close above both lines.
The Renko bar closes above both.
Right.
Or at least green over red. That's confirmation. Anything less than that, you're taking a risk. Like down here, you see how you pop above, but everything's downtrending. So you're taking a risk there. Whereas here, you could start to see both moving averages curling up. So it's more confluence in your favor to go long in these areas. You could also look for some type of pattern where maybe you have 3 boxes close positive followed by 1 bear and then rejected to a a bull box. Let me see if I could find one.
Oh, it looks basically that was like a breakout and a retest we were just looking at.
Yeah, like down here, like into this bear, like you go bear, 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 bull, bear. Like right here is where you would go short because it's
Going to a
actually
lower low.
it acts as like a slingshot when you go up and then back down. And then it happened again, 3 boxes up and then shot down, and then up and then shot down. So with going short, this is all beautiful because the trend lines are in your favor to go short. But I like using the wrinkle bars because it kind of shows it's easy. You just take the time out of your mind and just when the price hits its price, you go long or short. So actually, I'm going to set an alarm here to tell me when I get a wrinkle bar close below the fast moving average, the green line there, right here, short EMA. So I'm going to get an alert when the wrinkle bar closes below the fast moving average, and then I'll come check it out and see maybe if it's a good time to sell a little bit or go short. Interesting
Thanks for sharing this today. I'm learning a lot right now.
Yeah, it's an interesting strategy. Typically, like if I hit this scenario, oh man, I have a lot of crap on here, but I had the markers turned off just to keep it clean. But you could be really conservative with this approach. Like here, you could say, I want a 3% return. And you could just kind of set your target price to be 3 wrinkle bars above your entry. And then you could stop out below your entry for like a 1 to 2%. So you could keep like really conservative type plays with it, which is more my style. Just kind of take little wins as you go up and down. But overall, if you're just using this to forecast movements, unemotionally, not trading, it kind of can easily show you where the trends are going to lie. It just makes reading the trend very easy using the wrinkle bars. But that's pretty much Bitcoin right now. Obviously, we're looking good as far as the wrinkle bars are concerned. Full breakout above both moving averages. We're testing the top of this Bollinger Band, but there's no reason why we can't just keep printing a Bollinger Band that rises up with the price. Like that happens like back here, It happens quite often. You just ride the top of the cloud.
It does make it very clear.
Yeah, so if you ever want to research wrinkle bars, I learned a lot on YouTube, just YouTubing wrinkle bar studies. There's a couple guys out there that do wrinkle Bitcoin if you want to get a refresher on it. To use wrinkle bars in TradingView, it's a feature of a part of the paid subscription. So if you use TradingView for free, you won't be able to access this on the time frames less than a day. The time frames are weird with wrinkle bars because you think this is just based on price. So why even have the options for times? And that was something that kind of haunted me for a while, because if I go to a daily chart here, it changes everything up. So when I say time is not a variable, that's true to an extent. Basically, what it's going to do is close the wrinkle bar within that time frame. So see how these are green right now?
Yeah.
If the price closes at the end of the day, then those will print solid white. I don't know if that makes sense, but it won't close until the time frame is completed.
So that's reflecting the current price action, but it's not closed yet, so they're showing green.
Exactly. So what I like to do, because I don't want time involved at all, I go all the way down to the 1 minute. And now the price just has to close within the 1 minute. And that's what's most reliable to me. But if you wanted to be even more conservative and really swing trade this, you could set it to the longer term time frames, and you'll just see it literally catches like the whole move.
Yeah, look at that.
It's nuts.
You could have rode that the whole way, and then if you just got out when it crossed back below the red line, you made a huge profit.
Yeah, you could have rode this right here as the green crosses the red above.
Yep.
Literally April 29th, 2020. And you wouldn't have stopped out until probably around here, January 11th.
Yeah, massive.
So it's massive. Wrinkle bars are cool, man. but I keep it at the 1 minute because that kind of gives me the live trend as far as what price is doing.
Very interesting.
And on Ethereum, start with Ethereum US dollar on Coinbase here. This is the daily chart. I've got some resistance lines drawn in here. Looks like we just hit an all-time high today, which is pretty sweet. I know a lot of guys been looking for that. I don't like the long wick on top of this. That shows a lot of people had sell orders ready for that to be hit. So unless we get a little bit more excitement in the market to go after all-time highs, I would look for a strong close above that previous high first.
Yeah, right now it looks like weak follow through.
Yeah, weak follow through here. Oh, there's the actual long all-time high. Where are we? There, bang. Solid yellow line. Okay,
We beat it by almost $60.
that's not bad. Not bad. I mean, the RSI does not look healthy in this range, to be honest with you guys.
Nope.
You know,
That looks like
92.
Bitcoin did 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, MACD is just everything looks really kind of exhausted.
Yeah, the histogram on the MACD almost looks like it's starting to curl down.
Yeah. I mean, we have some bullish looking candles as far as these are concerned, but we're starting to get to that point where, you know, these moving averages, they're like magnets. They always come back. So unless you have some continued crazy exponential growth here, I would expect some type of pause off, maybe to come back, but
At least
definitely no
consolidation,
places,
yeah.
definitely no places to be buying right here, in my opinion. As far as the Kumo cloud, the Ichimoku cloud's concerned, I would have bids set for these moving averages here, which is pretty low, down to 783 or 900. But again, I'm talking against myself. This is a weekly chart, which I'm not trading off of that. I would look for the daily chart for trend, which trend is great. Go down to the 4 hour to see if I have a play to actually go long or short. And how does that look? You want to trade with the trend, so I'm looking for bullish breakouts, which, I mean, we got the green Ichimoku cloud, we got the price above the cloud, we got the lagging span above the cloud, and it looks like we're just about to get our fast moving average over slow moving averages, TK cross, Tekken over the Kijun. Looks like we're going to need another couple candles for that to print, but that would be a long signal, short-term long signal. And then looking for more specific entry on the 1 hour. Yeah, you probably set your bids 1385 and 1340 or so, right on these moving averages. Look forward to just tap those and continue up. So this is looking pretty good, guys. I'm liking where Ethereum's at right now. However, not that I care about Ethereum compared to the US dollar, because I absolutely don't. All I personally care about is how's it doing against Bitcoin. And if we look at the chart for Ethereum to Bitcoin trading on Binance, how does it look on the daily? Similar, actually, to how it looks against US dollar. Very kind of exhaustive breakout here. Looks like, you know, we're going to want some magnetism to be brought back, consolidate back to these moving averages for some healthy growth.
And that's probably where you see not the price of Ethereum maybe dropping, but actually the price of Bitcoin increasing there. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So if
I
this
feel like
comes
potentially
down,
too, now that Bitcoin had a little chance to breathe, it looks like Ethereum's about at that point. Now we might really see that altcoin surge. And I know some of the assets have really been doing very well.
Alt
right.
season.
Alt
Definitely
season,
not
that's
to
right.
ignore the trend here. I mean, the trend on the daily of Ethereum to Bitcoin, I mean, you got to call it up, right? It's not down, it's up. So trend is up. Go to the 4 hour to look for an actual play, and this is looking super clean. Kind of missed the play. The play would have been back here, January 16th, when the Tekken crossed the Kijun, the fast over the slow moving average would have went long around here. And I actually did that, by the way. Took some Bitcoin, sold it for Ethereum just to ride that up.
35% looks like.
Yeah. So
Nice little profit.
that worked out pretty good. Not that I've sold it yet. I'm still holding on to it. It's 25% increase in 8 days or so. So can't be mad at that.
That's in Bitcoin profit. It's even better.
Yeah, this is all based on the cloud, right? Right when I got all my indicators, my 4 checkpoints, don't fight it, just go with it. But still, if I was looking to get a position in here, I would set bids down here at 0.037 Bitcoin and 0.039 or so. I don't know how to say it in Satoshi. Sorry, guys.
That'd be 3,900,000 or something like that.
Okay, that's a lot. Hourly is looking pretty good. Hopefully, you just wick this red keychain line and continue back up from there. This is looking pretty good, guys. Do the same exercise on the wrinkle bars. Again, I have it set at 0.0003, which should be moved up by now since we're in the 4 zone. 0.04 Satoshi. So I'll change that a little bit. And looks like we're just about exhausted our run as far as the wrinkle bar is concerned. I probably would have taken some profit right here at 0.042. So maybe I'll actually sell some of that Ethereum that I switched for Bitcoin and go back into Bitcoin. And wait for it to reset. I'll get back into it if it goes above the green. But this is looking pretty healthy. But exhaustive, I think.
Needs a breather.
Needs a breather for sure.
So that's where Bitcoin's got to go. Number go up.
Bitcoin did the same thing, man. When it got into the mid 19,000s, it hung out there for a little while. And then got that massive explosive move, you know?
Bitcoin looks like it's ready to do what Bitcoin does and just show everybody it's king until it wants to take a breath.
So, what do you guys think by next time we do, like a next week or whatever? What do you think price wise for Bitcoin at least?
Oh my gosh.
I'm just off the top of my head.
40K.
That's what I'm thinking. 40.
Let's go.
Make it come back.
This is not.
I'll go 37.5. I think we're going to bounce around in here a little longer.
Okay.
But I think that's about what you guys are saying too.
Okay.
I mean, it might touch 40K and then it might drop back down to.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think we'll be kind of in the upper end of the range we've been in. It sounds like we're kind of all on the same page there.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. This is 2021, which is supposed to resemble 2017 to an extent. It's not 2022 or 2018 or any of those years. This is the year. This is our year.
Yeah, check back in 11 months. That's the. You
So,
see us a lot happier.
the trend is in our favor right now. There's no sign of it coming to an end anytime soon. So let's stick with 40 for next week.
40,000, everybody. 37.5.
We'll see what we end up at.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, and have a nice day.
Good night, guys.